Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this Chaos Zero Nightmare video. So in this Chaos Zero Nightmare video, we're going to talk about the best Nia guide as we break down everything you need to know in terms of the best card epiphanies, the deck's showcase for the different cards you want to hunt for her deck, as well as the different caveats and combos you need to know for Nia. So first of all, I've been using Nia a lot, and I can safely say she's one of the cheapest support you can build up in your account because she's relatively stats independent. You don't actually need that much potential for her. And if you do want to upgrade her potential, it would be upgrading the basic cards so that you're able to get more heals or damage off the starting cards right here. If you take a look at all her different card abilities, it's all this card, search your deck, draw. So all these abilities are not very stats dependent. So her potential upgrade doesn't actually benefit her that much in terms of the ability side of things, but rather the survival side of things, giving her more stats in health and more heals in the basic cards, and also the ability to get some heal with this unique stats upgrade. But personally, I wouldn't want to waste resources on this one because Nia can survive perfectly fine even without her potential nodes. So you just need some levels for her so that she becomes tanky, and then you can rely on her draw and discard mechanics or even the deck casting mechanic so that you can do your deck cheating or your combos with other units in general. So very cheap, not very potential dependent. Her manifest ego right here, the only one that truly matters would be E1, E2 together with E6. So she's easily accessible in the banner right now because she's in the Chizuru banner. So getting her to at least, I would say, E2 to get this rhythmic boost for additional damage would be greatly appreciated. But if you can push her for E6 to get that instant rhythmic boost at the start of battle, that would be something that would boost your damage quite well as well. So that's with regards to the E6 upgrade, because like you're going to shuffle with her in terms of her mechanics in general. So it's an easily achievable condition that grants you that 20% damage boost from rhythmic boost right here. So that's for the manifest ego side. Not very manifest ego dependent. You can even run without any manifest ego, but it would be appreciated so that you're able to boost up your damage of your carries or your team in gen. So that's for the manifest ego side. For the memory fragment side, I don't have a particular setup for her. Like generally speaking, I don't run her for her heals. I also don't run her for damage. I mostly run her for her filtering abilities. So for her potential side, you can choose to upgrade some set effects with defensive stats, so she's able to survive better, and some with defense so that she gets more heal. So in case you do run her with her heal cards, M therapy right here, she's able to heal more for the team. So very cheap unit. As you guys can see, there's just not a lot of resources invested into those very resource heavy upgrades. Even her levels is at level 50. In fact, I think if you don't want to upgrade her beyond 50, you can keep her at 40. Even 30 is fine because you don't even need that much of her potential node. So since you don't need this, as long as you have enough stats for her to tank through the bosses and then do your full combo, she's pretty good to go. So very cost efficient unit. Now moving on to her epiphanies. Right, she has G card right here, which is a key skill that allows you to activate the card in your draw pile. So for the epiphany portion for this card, the best one and the one that I usually would go for is E1 over here, which allows you to check. Let me just reposition myself a little bit. Okay, so Epiphany Upgrade 1 is the best because it allows you to check your top 3 cards and select the one that you want to activate, giving you more choice to pinpoint activate the card you want. So unless you have some sort of abilities that can return some card that you want to cheat to the top of the deck, this would be the best upgrade because this gives you 3 choices to choose from and then you can choose the best choice. Right? Even at the base copy, I think this G card ability is really good, but you need some way to get the desired card you want to cast to the top of the deck, either through the Hunter card that returns a card to the top of the deck or with her own Adagio ability. So this card is, I would say, like cost cheater. In general, you want to use 1 cost to at least cast a 1 cost card or a 2 cost cards so that you are able to benefit the most out of this card in general. So that's for G card. So E1 in most cases. E2 is okay as well, but Decibel will give you some additional extra attack damage output. So that is something, but like E1 or even the base copy is more than sufficient in most cases. As for the other cards in general, yeah, the third one is a little bit too RNG based. Fourth one is also very RNG based, and it can actually break your combo if you discard the more important combo cards. And then fifth card costs a little bit too much. So generally will be E1 as well as E2 for G-Chord. Now next card, we have Mute Ascent. So in general, Mute Ascent is a card which combos with units or other cards that wants to be discarded in general. So one of the best case would be Renoa, where you want to discard her Dirge Bullet so that you can get the extra damage, and also the additional perform the extra damage to a random enemy from this Mute Ascent. So for the Renoa combo, the last card, E5 over here, allows you to discard all highest cost cards. So let's say if your whole hand is 1 cost, you'll discard your whole hand, and then based off the card discarded, the owner of the card will perform the extra attack. So this is where you get that multi Renoa hit, where let's say if you have 9 bullets of Renoa, you use Mute Ascent, you'll be able to discard all the 9 bullets, and then Renoa will perform this 100% extra attack for 9 times before performing the Dirge Bullet extra attack. So that's one of the combos for Mute Ascent. And then you generally want to use E2 if you want pinpoint this card, so that you can empty your hand. So there are certain scenarios where you want to empty your hand of user's card so that you're able to draw more. So this is where pinpoint discard from E2 is greatly appreciated as well. So for the Renoa combo, it's E5, and then usually will be E2, because like other cards are relatively RNG based. Unless you can thin your hand until you're left with 1 card, for the Mute Ascent to pinpoint the exact card you want to discard, the most safe option will be E2 right here. So that's for this one. Okay. Now next, let's move on to Soul Rip. So Soul Rip is generally a heal with some decibel boost for additional damage. So for those of you guys who are not familiar with decibel, if we go into the decibel keyword, when a shuffle occurs, all ally performs 50% extra attack on a random enemy. So if you have additional stacks of decibel up to 5 stacks, that's 250% extra attack. So those are your additional attack whenever your discard power is shuffled back into your hand, or your draw power in general. So for Soul Rip, generally speaking, I think I would actually go for the upgrade for the long-term decibel boost whenever there's a discard. But if you need some heals for you to survive your runs or get to your combos, I think E2 is one thing you can go for. So another combo is the E3 upgrade. So when a card in hand is discarded, the combatant who owns the card performs 100% extra attack. So you can combo this with Mute Ascent. So you cast this skill first, draw and generate your bullets, and then you use your Mute Ascent to discard the bullets. So this will give you the additional extra attack with Renoa as well. So this unit has insane synergy with Renoa, because Renoa's bullet is usually better if you discard it for the extra attack damage. You can also use it for the frontal damage, but then you exhaust the bullet, which will result you in not being able to perform your full Renoa combos. So this is where Nia comes in, help you discard those cards, get the extra damage for you to generate more hand space, as well as just get the extra attack off the bullets. So that's for Soul Rip. Usually it's E2 or sometimes E5, but E3 is very niche for certain units with the discard mechanic advantage. So that's for Soul Rip. Now we talk about the next card, which is the key card for her deck. So Adagio right here allows you to draw 1 and discard 1. And there's this ability to move the discarded card to the top of the draw pile. So you can combo this together with G-Chord so that you get the pinpoint card you want to get casted. Because if you don't have the Epiphany upgrade, this will activate the top card, and then this will shift the discard card from the discard pile to the draw pile. So this card incidentally also has an insane combo with our dear Eternal Hunger right here. So we're going to go into our Zeeebo classroom. So these are the different combos you want to know. So first of all is the Adagio G-Chord combo, allowing you to go for precise card cheating. So you ideally want to return a card that is 3 costs or 2 costs, so that you are able to benefit from the AP cheating side of things. If not, if you want some pinpoint casting of like your 1-2 cost cards, you can also do this combo. Another one is the Mute Ascent plus Dirge Bullet combo, which I mentioned. So this is one massive Renoa combo you can perform. Very niche synergy, but a lot of damage. And then there's also the more well-known Adagio Eternal Hunger and Confiscation combo. So this is the combo which I use the most myself, because this ability or this combo gives you the draw 4 plus 2 AP. So how this combo works in general is you go for the Adagio that has this card 2. So these 2 cards will be returned to the top of the deck. So if you return Eternal Hunger, if you return 2 of them, what will happen is you will draw 2, right? You move the 2 Eternal Hunger into the deck. So you need these 3 cards to start the combo, and then you need Confiscation to do the full draw cycle. So you draw 2 cards, okay? You move the 2 Eternal Hunger back into the draw pile, and then you use Confiscation ability to draw 1 and also move 1 random forbidden card into your hand. So you'll draw the top Eternal Hunger, and you activate the Attunement ability, which procs when you draw a card. So this way you will draw into the second Eternal Hunger, and the second Eternal Hunger will activate the Attunement as well. So this will give you +2 draw and +2 AP. So let's say if you're able to perform this combo multiple times in one turn, you're able to generate a lot of AP as well as draw efficiency. So this is one of the combos which I perform a lot, and you will need at least ideally 4 card hand space for you to perform the combo. So with regards to the Epiphany upgrade, I personally prefer either E1 or E5. So E5 actually gives you a very good discard 1 of that unit that you want to draw, and then you draw into 2 other more important cards. So this E5 upgrade is useful in case you have a useless card of a unit you want to discard, you don't want to use, you discard it and then you go into your combo for the unit. So that's one way to use E5. But most cases, I'll choose E1 because of the draw 2 and the discard 2 mechanics. You can also discard the bullet. So what will happen is if you discard Renoir's bullet, the bullet will go into the discard pile, triggering the extra attack, and then return to the top of the deck. So this combo is less efficient, but generally speaking, it's also another combo to take note of, because the idea of Attunement or the idea of Adagio is this card actually allows you to send your unwanted cards to the top of your deck. So this will proc or activate the draw ability, which requires you to draw the card from the draw pile. So one question which I have from a lot of players is, why does the Eternal Hunger combo not work when it's in the discard pile? Like, why does it work only if in the draw pile? Because if you take a look at the Eternal Hunger keyword, Attunement is when this card is drawn. So when it's drawn, it must come from the draw pile. When it comes from a discard pile, it's a movement. So the difference in wording results in a different outcome. So with Adagio, you're able to place this into the draw pile to activate the Attunement keyword. So that's why this unit is one of the best units to abuse Eternal Hunger right here. So generally speaking, usually I will use this deck right here. So we have a whole bunch of Adagios, ideally 3 copies of Adagios with Eternal Hunger, and then a whole lot of Confiscation. So you are able to draw back the Eternal Hunger and generate the AP in the process. So general deck building idea will be duplicate Adagio. Okay, if you are using this unit with Renoir, then duplicate Milk Ascent for that burst damage that you guys have seen before, and then have Confiscation with Eternal Hunger right here. So other good cards to combo with will be the Ranger card that returns the card to the top of the deck together with the G-Chord combo. So you want to remove the other basic cards because generally speaking, I think the basic cards in the form of Stroke and M Therapy, they are pretty underwhelming, both in terms of the heal portion as well as the damage output. So you use her mostly for the filtering capabilities. So that's for Nia. Last but not least, her Ego skill right here allows you to discard all the cards from the draw pile. So in most cases, you use it to empty your whole draw pile, which might be clumped up with useless cards. In other cases, you can combo with Renoir where you have a whole lot of bullets in the draw pile, and then you can just discard all of them to proc that massive damage outcome. So that's the few Nia combo for this unit. So in general, with regards to Nia as a unit, I think she's very cost efficient. Her combo is very easy to pull off because you don't need Divine Epiphanies. She's not very stats dependent, and you don't need a lot of resources to build her up. So just a few things to take note of in terms of the Adagio combo. So usually you want to use Adagio when you have 8 cards in hand or when you have 9 cards, because you want to have 2 card space to get your draw 2, discard 2 synergy going. So one of the problems with Nia instead of the lack of draws would be your hand size management, because your hand will be filled with so much cards that you have to sort of discard or use some cards so that you create more hand space to draw and get your draw efficiency. So right here we have 8 cards in hand. This is where we are able to draw 2 because there's a maximum 10 hand size limit. So this allows you to return back the Eternal Hunger right here. Okay, so the cards gets returned from the discard pile into the draw pile, and it will be placed on top. So what happens is when you use confiscation, you draw one, you draw that Eternal Hunger, you get that one move random forbidden card. So that's your +2, and then you proc their individual attunement, which gives you a full hand. So as you guys can see, one of the biggest problem would be hand size management. So if you draw into Eternal Hunger and you do not get your hand emptied, then there's a possibility you can't draw more because the maximum hand size is 10. Another thing to take note of for Eternal Hunger is if there's no card in the draw pile and you proc the attunement ability, you won't be able to draw, hence you won't be able to get the +1 AP. So that's for those of you guys who want to squeeze out that last additional AP usage from this card specifically. So that's pretty much it for my ultimate Nia guide for Season 1 with the Forbidden Eternal Hunger combo. Hopefully this guide is clear enough for you to understand how to use Nia as well as the strengths of Nia as a unit. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!